Now let us talk about the innovation credits of the Green Star that are also related to the LCA. So there are 2 credits available here, 30C, exceeding Green Star benchmarks comparative assessment, and 30D, innovation challenge carbon neutral buildings. So here a total of 5 points is available. And let us have a look. So the first credit, exceeding Green Star benchmark, so comparative life cycle assessment, applies for projects under version 1.1 onwards, and the projects need to demonstrate that they are better than an already set benchmark. So they need to demonstrate that they are 20% better than 130% that we previously described. So a total of 150% better would give you 1 innovation point, and additional 20% would give a 2nd point. So that's how it works. This innovation credit, it's for really exceptional performance. And normally projects that apply for 6 Green Stars are more likely to get also innovation points. So if you're dealing with 6-star projects, also think about claiming maybe some of these innovation credits because normally 6-star projects would try to make their design much more environmentally friendly, and so you're more likely to achieve these credits. So the second innovation credit related to the LCA is number 30D, named Innovation Challenge or Responsible Carbon Impact. And as the name stated, it is about reducing carbon impacts. So the minimal requirement is that you need to get 3 points with an LCA and demonstrate 10% embodied carbon reduction. Right, so this is just a minimal point, and the first point you're getting if you, sorry, I guess we'll concentrate on this one first. The project needs to demonstrate 10% saving in embodied carbon, excluding module V6, right? And also offset the remaining carbon. So you need to buy and cost offsets to become carbon neutral. So the second point is available if you reduce the embodied carbon by 20% and offset the remaining carbon. And the last point is when you also use NCOS certified materials, right? So you would require the use of materials certified against NCOS, and there is a specific number of materials that need to be certified by this organization to get there, and their impact on the total environmental performance needs to be measured as well. So that's we're reducing the total reduction should be 5% at least from these materials. And you need to work with at least 5 different suppliers, and each contribution of material needs to be at least 0.2 to carbon reduction. So how does it actually work, and how to calculate the embodied carbon? So good news is that you can lean on the EN 15978 standard to calculate the total embodied and operational carbon. It may sound a bit tricky, but it's not. Let me just quickly jump to the software to demonstrate how it works. So for those who haven't seen or worked with the software, this is an interface. I hope you can see it well. So we're speaking here about a demonstration project, sample residential development, 3 stories. And so the LCA model consists of different structural components and elements, like floors, walls, and windows, doors, also appliances, HVAC systems, refrigerators, and lights, solar PV system, and so on. So they're all prefabricated and show you what their impact on the whole environmental performance is. So in this case, we also only focus on global warming potential, or carbon, but we also have other different categories here, ozone depletion and eutrophication and so on. Of course, to calculate embodied carbon, we only look at global warming potential. So it's not surprising that you would realize that the total carbon here is calculated with 18,000 of tons of CO2 equivalent over the lifetime of the building, and most of these impacts come from operational energy and water, B6 and B7, but also from recurring impacts like refurbishment and also the origin of materials and some operational energy exports are also calculated here. So how do we calculate embodied carbon? So we just need to go into the structural level of the model and just switch off those modules that are for the operational impacts. So as you can see, all the modules, remember we calculated here 18,000. We just need to switch off V6 and V7 and also D1, which is operational energy exports. And here we go, the software calculated it's 6,000 of carbon equivalent instead of previous 18,000. So as I just described before, we need to deduct from the total the operational impacts, and so we get the number and then just times the cost of offset certificates. I just took here for an example for simplicity $5 per ton, but they can cost $30 or $40 per ton or even more, depending on the type of certificate and the product. So let's just calculate with this. So it means that to offset the remaining carbon, this project would need to pay $30,000 to offset the remaining carbon after we reduced the embodied impacts as much as we could. So in order to get these 2 points under this credit, to summarizing, you'll need to, first of all, reduce embodied carbon by 20% and then offset the remaining carbon. And to get the 3rd point, you will also need to use at least 5 different material suppliers, which materials are ENCO certified and help to reduce embodied carbon by 5% in total. And then each material's impact needs to be measured and demonstrate that it helps to reduce embodied carbon by at least 0.2%.